And we welcome you into the Unrivaled post-game show. Penn State and Michigan today here in front of a great crowd at Beaver Stadium. Final score, Michigan 24, Penn State 15. Let's join head coach James Franklin's press conference live from the media room.
After that, we've been really good in the third quarter all year long, and we weren't able. Obviously, the turnover in the third quarter was a significant play in the game. Up to that point, obviously we were in a heck of a game and a heck of a dogfight against, between two of the best defenses in college football and two of the best teams in college football. So give them credit and open up to questions.
Raise your hand and we'll get a mic to you. I don't know where my mic holders are. We'll go back there and we'll go to Rich. Who's on this side? Oh, my mic holder. Go ahead.
James, on this side. You said earlier this year about how important it is to actually win every game at this point, the way that the college football playoff is set up. How do you keep the team motivated after you lose a couple of games like this to the biggest programs on your schedule?
Yeah, be honest, be transparent with ourselves as staff and with the players. Address it head on. And then move on to the next opponent and get ready to get another win next week. We've lost to the number 1 and the number 3 team in the country. That's not good enough. We got to find ways to win those games, but address it, be honest, be transparent, go after it head on, and then move on to the next opponent so we can find a way to get a win next week and finish this thing in a positive direction.
Hey, Coach Franklin.
Hey, Jared.
Obviously, hindsight is 20/20, and you all would have needed to recover that onside kick to go down and score and tie the game or win. But going for 2 twice earlier in the game and being down 9 rather than 7, what went into making those decisions?
Yeah, well, we were down by 4, so being able to go for 2 and get us in a position where it's obviously a field goal gets us back in a position to take the lead or to tie the game. I felt like points were going to be at a premium. These are all the things that we talk about before the game. We use the analytics as well as conversations as a staff. And at some point, you're going to have to score enough points to get back in the game. But just trying to get the game back into a one-possession game, and didn't feel like in that situation we didn't know how many opportunities we were going to get. So try to maximize it.
James, it seemed, to your right here next to Mark, it seemed like Drew missed open receivers today. He really struggled, even compared to the Ohio State game. How would you evaluate how he did today?
Yeah, a couple things. We got to do a better job of calling a game to allow a quarterback to get into rhythm. That is critical. We got to find easy completions for a quarterback to get into rhythm. That's what everybody does. We got to do a good job of that. And then on top of that, although there wasn't sacks, there was too many pressures, and there was too many times where we're not creating separation. Very similar to the other game you talked about.
Following up on that, how would you describe the offensive game plan with Mike and you guys going into this week? And do you feel like you stuck to that or deviated from that?
Yeah, I thought early on it was to do everything we possibly could to stay on schedule and not be in third and long situations. I thought we did that for the most part. We still weren't as efficient on third down as obviously we need to be. That was the biggest issue. Although we were able to move the ball and do some things in the first half, we were not successful on third down, which was to me the biggest issue and were problematic. Thought we were able to run the ball more consistently. But in the second half, again, when we turn the ball over and they are grinding, they had a hard time getting things going offensively as well until they went to their heavy package. Turnovers in that type of game, it's going to be difficult. They're going to do a great job of eating the clock, and they did a good job of that in the second half. I think you could see how they were calling the game. They put JJ in position to make some plays with his feet because they were struggling to move the ball. But we wanted to stay on schedule on offense, and I thought we did that, but then we weren't able to execute on third down.
Ryan and then Neil.
Hey, James, over here to your left. You mentioned, you calling a game to get the quarterback into rhythm. What was Michigan's defense doing that was kind of making it difficult to get Drew into rhythm?
The same thing they've done against everybody all year long. That's one of the best defenses in college football. We got one of the best defenses in college football. They make it challenging up front. Their front seven is able to get pressure, is able to get sacks. Not today, not a whole lot against us. But then also, obviously, be able to get coverage. We made a couple throws that if the ball's not delivered right, one ended up being a pass interference on them. One, we were fortunate that wasn't an interception. Your ball location is critical in these types of games. And then obviously, we had a couple shots called, but we're waiting for a specific look and a specific defense and weren't able to do that. So we weren't able to loosen them up from a coverage standpoint. To help with the more consistent, higher percentage throws.
James, what went into the decision? How much did you think about punting with about 4.5 left from your own territory there? You guys still had a couple timeouts?
Yeah, at some point, you're going to have to be aggressive, and you're going to have to make one of those calls like we did in the first half. I think it was we went for it on fourth down, and we actually went to Caden, and Caden made a huge play for us. We needed to do that a few times in the second half, and at that point of the game, at some point, we can't just keep giving the ball back to Michigan. It puts our defense in a tough spot if we don't pick it up, but we're going to have to pick up one of those third or fourth downs to stay on the field to give us the best chance to win the game. I just think you punt at that situation, at that point of the game, against that team, you may not get the ball back.
Dave, then Audrey.
James, the 2-point conversions. The first one, why chase points in the second quarter when you don't know where the score is going to be in the fourth? The second one, why not make it a one-score game and keep your team alive with an extra point?
Yeah, again, very similar answer is we felt like points were going to be hard to come by. We were down by 4. We wanted to put ourselves in a position to get it back to a field goal game. Again, those were all the numbers we worked through from an analytics standpoint. As a staff, everybody was comfortable with, thought it was the right thing to do. Obviously, we didn't pick it up.
Second one. What about the second one? Not kicking an extra point.
Yeah, for the same reason.
James.
I don't understand the logic there. You're making an 8-point game. You keep your team alive.
Okay, you don't agree with it. I'm just telling you that's the decision.
I didn't think the answer had anything to do with the second one. The first one I understand.
Yeah, we're trying to get back. We're trying to get points. We felt like points were going to be hard to come by. We wanted to get it back.
Well, there's 2.5 minutes left in the game at that point.
Dave, I've answered your question.
I don't think you did.
Audrey, last question.
James, over here. Early in the second quarter, you guys had a sequence where Katron rushes for 9 yards on first down and then doesn't touch the ball. You guys throw a pass to Malik Mega. I guess what went into that sequence and why did Katron not touch the ball again that drive?
One more time, I apologize.
Yeah, no worries. Early in the second quarter, you guys, Katron rushed for 9 yards on the first play and then didn't touch the ball the next few plays and you guys punted. I guess you threw a pass to Mega in there as well. Why not go back to Katron at all during that sequence?
Yeah, actually, the one we threw the ball to Mega, that was a run. And based on the look you get, you have some outlets, you have some relief throws on the outside. Obviously, we want to continue. I think we ran the ball, a decent amount in the first half. But yeah, I think that was a run play with a relief throw based on what the defense did.
Head coach James Franklin addressing the media after the game. Penn State falls to Michigan today, 24-15, a game wire to wire. What a battle between two top 10 programs, offensively and defensively. You knew that this was going to be a fight here at Beaver Stadium all day long. A terrific crowd certainly made an impact, creating those false starts, forcing Michigan to use those timeouts, and the crowd an impact today. But Michigan does win it by a 24-15 final score. The Nittany Lions will be back at home again next Saturday, taking on Rutgers. Penn State was able to run the ball today for 164 yards against that Michigan defense. Katron Allen, as coach talked about, a dozen carries, 72 yards. Drew Aller effective on the ground today as well. 10 carries, 49 yards, and a rushing touchdown. Nicholas Singleton added 43 rushing yards as well for Penn State. A couple of standouts for Penn State defensively. 7 tackles for loss as a team against a very good Michigan offense. KJ Winston, 12 tackles in this one. Curtis Jacobs had 7 tackles, 1.5 of those for loss. Denai Dennis Sutton, 2 tackles for loss in this game. And Adisa Isaac continues what has been a tremendous season with 3 tackles for loss for that Penn State defense. Coach just talked about it, a battle of top defenses all day long, and they set the tone early on that defensive side, making life difficult for J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, and that Michigan offense. But unfortunately, Michigan comes out of here with a 24-15 win today at Beaver Stadium, as we just heard from head coach James Franklin here post-game. We appreciate everyone tuning in to the Unrivaled post-game show. We'll be back with our weekly coverage, the Unrivaled weekly preview show, coming up on Wednesday, live from the Lash Building ahead of Penn State and Rutgers. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Thanks for joining us here post-game from Beaver Stadium. I'm Brian Tripp saying so long.